Welcome back to another episode of Good Morning KU Sports. I'm Savannah Reeves.
And I'm Lauren Ritchie. To start things off, let's head to the field where I recapped the football game that took place last week. The Oklahoma Sooners gave the Kansas Jayhawks their second loss of the season after a final score of 52-42. Oklahoma with the first scoring play of the game after running back Javonte Barnes runs the ball 1 yard, giving them 7. The Jayhawks answered 3 minutes later after wide receiver Lawrence Arnold caught quarterback Jason Bean's 39-yard pass to put them on the board. After 9 plays and 75 yards, the Sooners running back Eric Gray runs the ball in 2 yards to go up 7. With 2 minutes left in the first quarter, running back Devin Neal runs the ball 11 yards into the end zone to tie the game at 14. To start the second quarter, Barnes runs the ball 6 yards. Theo Wees catches quarterback Dylan Gabriel's 24-yard pass to go up 14. Another scoring play for the Sooners as Gray runs 28 yards for a score of 35-14. Before halftime, the Jayhawks make it a 2-possession game after tight end Mason Fairchild caught Bean's 18-yard pass. Coming out of half, Gabriel runs the ball 1 yard into the end zone, giving the Sooners a 21-point lead. Turning around, Bean connects downfield to Arnold, who caught the 28-yard pass. After 10 plays and 75 yards, Gabriel threw a 26-yard pass to tight end Braden Willis to put the Sooners up 21 again. The Jayhawks scored early in the fourth quarter as running back Kai Thomas runs the ball 1 yard into the end zone for a score of 49-35. Zach Schmidt, kicker for the Sooners, knocks in a 37-yard field goal for the 3-possession lead. The Jayhawks did not go away as Fairchild caught the 9-yard pass from Bean, making it 42-52. After an attempted onside kick, the Jayhawks could not recover, giving the ball back to the Sooners, who would go on to run the clock out. The 5-2 Jayhawks look to bounce back tomorrow as they will take on the Baylor Bears in Waco, Texas, with a start time of 11 a.m. This has been Lauren Ritchie with this week's football recap. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Lauren, for that recap. We are back to preview some of the best college and NFL football matchups of this weekend.
This weekend in college football, there will feature 5 top 25 matchups, and of those being a top 10 matchup.
Starting with number 14 ranked Syracuse will travel to take on number 5 ranked Clemson. Both teams are coming into this matchup undefeated. Syracuse has been a big surprise this season, and they will look to pull off the upset at Clemson. Tune in to ABC at 11 a.m. Saturday to watch this top 25 ACC showdown.
Next, there's a huge Big 12 matchup in Fort Worth, Texas. Number 17 ranked Kansas State will travel to play number 8 ranked undefeated TCU. The winner of this game will take full control of the Big 12 standings. This game will kick off at 7 p.m. on FS1.
Number 6 ranked Alabama will look to bounce back from their tough loss at Tennessee. They will host number 24 Mississippi State. Tune into ESPN at 6 p.m. for that one.
Lastly, ESPN College Game Day will be in town when number 9 ranked UCLA will travel to face the number 10 Oregon Ducks. UCLA comes in undefeated at 6-0, and Oregon is 5-1 with their only loss to number 1 Georgia. Oregon is on a 5-game winning streak, and they look to get bowl eligible on Saturday. Tune into Fox at 2:30 to watch this Pac-12 matchup.
Another great weekend of college football, but the NFL has some great games to look forward to.
The Chiefs will travel to San Francisco to play the 49ers for a Super Bowl 54 rematch. Both teams are coming off losses and looking to get a win. The matchup between the Chiefs' high-powered offense against the stout Niners defense should be fun to watch.
Sunday night primetime will feature a Steelers team traveling to Miami to face the Dolphins. The Dolphins started 3-0 but dropped 3 straight when starting QB Tua went down with a concussion. Although he could return this week, the Steelers will not go away as they are coming off a big win against the Buccaneers. Both teams need this win. Tune in Sunday night for this AFC matchup.
That wraps up this week's marquee matchups on the gridiron. Keep your eyes open as it looks to be an action-packed weekend.
Thank you, and we'll pass it to the NHL update after this quick break.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good. For greatness. Can you hear it?
The NHL season is about a week and a half in, and there's already a lot to discuss.
Starting out at the bottom, the Vancouver Canucks are the first team in NHL history to start the season 0-3 after leading by multiple goals in every game. The Canucks lost to the Wild last night to make their record 0-4 and are now the only winless team in the league.
The San Jose Sharks are also at the bottom of the league at 1-5 after they won their first game last night in New York. The Sharks fired most of their management over the summer, including their head coach after they missed the playoffs for 3 seasons in a row. But other teams with new head coaches like the Dallas Stars and Philadelphia Flyers are starting out on top of the league this week.
The outcome of this Flyers season is probably the most anticipated across the league with their new coach John Tortorella. Last season, the Flyers finished second to the last in the league, but they are already looking for a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs this spring. Connor McDavid for the Edmonton Oilers has surpassed Paul Coffey for 5th most assists in franchise history with 463. McDavid also scored the first hat trick of the season during the season opener against the Vancouver Canucks in Edmonton. The Canucks led the first half of the game with 3 unanswered goals, only for the Oilers to score 5 straight and win the game. With his hat trick in that game, McDavid passed 700 NHL points. He is the 6th fastest to reach this milestone and is now 5th place for the most points in Oilers history with 707.
And in one of the first controversies of the season, the Maple Leafs were called for a hand pass on Monday night against the Coyotes. Arizona was up 3-2 in the third period, and Alex Kerfoot thought he scored the tying goal for the Leafs with 37 seconds left in the game. After a further review from the Situation Room, officials ruled that Maple Leafs defensive man Morgan Riley made a hand pass violation leading up to the goal. Riley did in fact bat the puck down inside the attacking zone, and his teammate gained control, which violated NHL Rule 79.1. which states that a player cannot use his hand to direct the puck towards a teammate.
The fans in Toronto were not happy, and many fans on Twitter were even more upset. The Coyotes went on to score an empty net goal to seal the win 4-2. That's all for NHL. Let's toss it to Barry, who has some early season predictions for the NBA season.
Good morning, KU Sports. The NBA season is underway. I have a lot of information to share with you. I'm going to break down 3 NBA teams that aren't going to do so well this year. Our first team will be the Oklahoma City Thunder. After they lost Chet Holmgren for the season, I lost hope for this team. If you saw him in the preseason, you would know that he would make a good impact on that offense with the backcourt of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey. The Thunder doesn't have any veteran all-stars or any solid big men. I feel like it's going to be a complete disaster for OKC, and I have them finishing 18-64. There isn't enough firepower besides SGA, and with all those first-round picks they have, they should look to make some trades for more valuable players. My next team will be the Orlando Magic. They, unfortunately, are ranked 29th in the league in net rating, 28th in offensive rating, and 25th in defensive rating, according to the Orlando Magic Daily. They did well with drafting Paolo Banchero. They have Bobo, but they are loaded with point guards. Markelle Fultz can't stay healthy. Jalen Suggs, who only averaged 11.8 points, I know he's a rookie, but their highest scorer last season was Cole Anthony, who averaged 16.3 points. Franz Wagner will complement Banchero later on down the road, but for this season, since the team is too young and they don't have dominance at big man, I have the Magic finishing 21-61. My final team will be the Sacramento Kings. They haven't made the playoffs since 2005. This is a terrible franchise, a very indecisive organization. Their biggest mistake was letting Tyrese Halliburton go. They even let Buddy Hield go. They were too desperate in wanting an all-star. I personally feel like Domantas Sabonis wasn't the answer. They were a bottom team last year and could have just drafted a younger big man. This organization has made a lot of mistakes in the past when it has come to drafting, a lot of what-ifs, but they did have a good offseason. They drafted power forwards, which would move Sabonis to center, which Sabonis isn't very familiar with. Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter will be solid. Davon Mitchell is their best defender, but they can't really score the ball. But outside of them, they really don't have any depth. They have been finishing as a bottom 5 team for a long time. If that organization doesn't make the right moves, it's going to be really terrible for them. I have this team finishing 22-60. Back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, guys. I know we've all been wondering what possibly the weather might be this weekend after experiencing 30 degrees and almost 80 degrees these past few days.
That sounds like Kansas. We'll be back with weather after this break.
Walking alone in a college town can be dangerous, no matter the time of day. Lawrence might seem like a small town, but there is still tons of crime that happens. You never know where and or when people are planning to attack, so it is better to be safe than sorry. Being by yourself is never the answer. That's why people should always walk within a buddy system. Having at least 3 people to walk with can help with getting home safer. Going out in a bigger group is definitely the way to go, so everyone can be assured they are safe. If walking home isn't an option, calling KU Safe Ride is the next best option, or ordering an Uber with your friends. Stay safe and always keep a buddy with you.
Welcome back to Good Morning KU Sports. I'm Erin Borgers here with a weather update for you all. And it looks like we're actually going to get a live music forecast update instead of a weather update, but that'll be okay because we can still go through the days a little bit here and I can relate the music to the weather until we get back with the weather from technical difficulties on Sunday, which is going to line up with the replay. It's actually going to be really windy for us, so that'll be nice. And here we go. Okay, so the real weather for this week is that we are expecting some rain next week, and we have lots of teams that are away, so let's go ahead and jump into this. Outside, it's going to be 55 degrees and sunny. It's going to be a lot warmer today. It's going to warm up progressively throughout the day, especially in the afternoon. Around 4 p.m. it's going to be 86, which is going to be about our high, but we are seeing some strong winds out of the southwest, so we're getting a lot of southerly air in our area, and that's going to leave us feeling a bit warmer than we have been this past week, so it'll be a nice change of pace. And then of course into the evening hours around 10 p.m. we're going to be about 61 degrees. And so for today, we have swimming and diving starting their meet at 5 p.m. It's going to be 85 for them here in Lawrence, Kansas. They are also having a part 2 of their meet on Saturday at 11 a.m. and it's going to be 74 then. And then tonight, but away from Lawrence, we have the soccer team in Manhattan, Kansas, and it's going to be 78 degrees and mostly sunny for them over there. So that'll be a nice time to watch the soccer game. And football is playing tomorrow in Waco, Texas. It's going to be 74 when that game starts, and the clouds are going to clear up in Waco, Texas, so the football game should be nice and sunny as it gets going. The winds are going to be a little strong for them, but it should be nice overall. And then one of our last away things that we have is baseball away in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it's going to be very sunny, very warm at 2 p.m. It's going to be 86 degrees, and it's still going to be gusty. You can see that as a trend in our general South and Central America area. It is warm and windy this week, and we are going to see that continue. Our rowing team is actually in Massachusetts, so lucky them. They're getting some cooler weather. They're going to experience 67 degrees as a high for them on Saturday when they are rowing, and the winds aren't going to be too strong, so it'll be nice weather for them. And then this leads me to the 7-day forecast, and on Sunday into Monday we have a good chance of rain. Sunday itself is going to be windy. Monday and Tuesday we're also going to see a good amount of rain. Monday especially, very, very likely you're going to see rain, so students, grab your umbrella on your way to class. You're going to need it at the very least on Monday, if not on Tuesday as well. The rest of the week is looking to be a bit more cloudy, sunny, but not too bad. We do have another rain chance, if I step aside here, on Thursday, and so we're going to keep an eye on that as we get closer to that day. And that is all I have for a weather update for you all, and we will be back after this break.
Pollution, one of the biggest things killing our planet, and yet trash is still being thrown out of car windows right here on campus, but also left on beaches, causing millions of sea animals to be killed and humans to have a 20% higher risk of death from lung cancer. Pollution is not only just trash being thrown out by humans, but also factories, cars, and even wood-burning fires, causing our air to be contaminated. It may feel like pollution is not affecting the area where we live, but that is not the case. Kansas suffers about 10 to 15 days each year of poor air quality. It may not seem like much, but it adds up and can lead to very negative effects. Pollution is killing not only our planet, but us too, and it needs to be stopped. It starts with you.
Welcome back from break. Thank you, Erin, for the weather update.
Let's toss it over to Liam, Barry, and Noah for the new segment.
Good morning, Sports. I'm joined by Liam Carson and Noah Ginsberg. And first, we're going to, this is our second week of KU Hawk Talk, and we're going to talk about football today. Dating back to last week's Oklahoma and KU game in a crucial 52-42 loss. Obviously, Jason Bean, who threw four touchdowns. What do you think the key loss was of Oklahoma and KU? Like, what were the like mishaps and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if your opposing team has over 700 yards of offense, you're most likely not going to win. And it was honestly just a shootout, and we had more turnovers, and that's how you lose in shootouts, is having more turnovers. I thought that Bean played relatively good for being a backup. I mean, it just sucks that Daniels is going to be out for a little bit longer, but once we get him back, we should be a lot better.
Good news is he has practiced limited basis on Wednesday, which is a big deal. His uncertainty for this game is unknown still, so we got to still be prepared with Jason Bean for this game. My biggest take is we got to get pressure on this quarterback. We have not done a good job of that, and when you give up again 700 yards, you're not going to win. The defense has to be better, and I think it starts with winning in the trenches and on the defensive line against the offensive line, and I think that's where it starts first.
Right.
Definitely.
Dating back to what you said about the turnovers, obviously Jason Bean, who's averaged 2 interceptions for the past 2 games, going to this week, KU versus Baylor. What do you think is going to? How do you think Jason Bean is going to perform? Because he has been balling out. All the blame cannot be put on him. He's been playing very underrated, and before him, Jalen Daniels was kind of struggling. All the fumbling on the goal lines kind of hurt versus the TCU game. The impact could have came out differently, but going into the Baylor, like, what do you think the impact is Jason Bean is going to have?
Yeah, I think as long as Jason Bean plays as well as he did the last 2 weeks and the defense steps up, KU should definitely come out with the win. I mean, I guess it just comes down to like what Noah said, just we need to win in the trenches on both sides of the ball. KU's offense is really run-centric, so if we can win on the offensive line like we usually do and win on the defensive line as well, I really think that we can come out the win.
Yeah, the biggest key I saw was reading all the statistics is KU's 3rd in the Big 12 with the run, but Baylor's 3rd in defense against the run. So my biggest take is we got to run the ball, use Devin Neal, design runs for Jason Bean. I think it starts there for sure. The biggest take against Baylor was they did give up 116 yards to Mathis, the running back for West Virginia last game. So I think we got to run the ball.
All right. So going to this Baylor game, I don't think their backup QB is playing. So if he's not playing, do you think KU's defense will have an advantage?
So yeah, last week Baylor's QB was out against West Virginia, and they lost pretty close to West Virginia last week. And I think their quarterback is going to be back against KU. And one thing that I think KU should really do in this game to win is, like Noah said, is get Jason Bean involved in the run game with design runs, because I've heard some reports that he might be the fastest player on the team, and you need to get him in the run game. And if they can do that, we should definitely win.
What do you guys think about our receiving core?
I think we definitely got some young talent on the receiving core. I think we got to get them also involved as well, because you don't want to get on 3rd and long and all that where it's an obvious passing play. I think we got Lou Grimm, Quinn Skinner. We got Trevor Wilson coming back from his issues off the field. So I think there's definitely a lot of talent on that side of the ball, but we definitely got to get everyone involved for this game.
Do you think KU's defense needs to change up their scheme? For the past 2 weeks, they've obviously let their opponents go over 40 points. So, like, what do you think they need to do to change it up?
Yeah, I guess just switch up the play calls, honestly. And, I mean, Kobe Bryant, defensive back Cody Bryant, went down with an injury last week. So if he can't go for the rest of the season, that's definitely a big loss for KU. But we just got to win on the line, like I said. And if we can do that, defense should be well improved.
All righty, that wraps up our second week of Hawk Talk. We're going to kick it back to Savannah and Lauren.
Thanks, guys. We'll be back after this short break.
From adversity, we rose. We made history and became pioneers, voyagers, champions, Jayhawks. And when our chant rises, haunting and hallowed, Jayhawks are telling the world what's near. Victory.
Welcome back. I do think it would be right to close the show without mentioning the huge upset last week.
Another big college football game took place last Saturday as the number 6 ranked team, the Tennessee Volunteers, took down the number 3 Alabama Crimson Tide with a score of 52-49.
With 20 seconds left on the clock, Alabama kicker Will Riker missed a 50-yard field goal to try and take the lead. Tennessee is given the ball back and drives the ball down on the 40-yard mark. With 2 seconds left on the clock, a 1st and 10 Tennessee kicker Chase McGrath drills down a 40-yard field goal attempt and wins the game for the Volunteers.
This was the first time since 2006 that the Tennessee Volunteers beat Alabama. With the win, Tennessee Volunteers are 6-0 and Alabama is now 6-1. The new rankings have swapped, putting Alabama as number 6 and Tennessee at number 3.
Thanks for tuning in to Good Morning Sports.
For more sports news, stay tuned for Playmakers at noon. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we'll see you again next week.